Bisla lilik something and costume lilik something lilik something bisla lilik something me kan something bamar adena vaibla looking so money price amount looking 1133 kin 50 to what the fuck you me on next level start money me like simple just lilik something but money go expensive so yeah
suburb of Guerrero, where I live, the little shopping center where we do our shopping, it's been burnt to ashes, like 3 supermarkets, a hardware store, and a bakery. So yeah, it's really bad. And one of the hardware wholesale company, Brian Bell's Wholesale warehouse, is also located in Guerrero, and that's also been looted. So it's not looking good.
And this whole chaotic situation started with protests that were peaceful by police and public sector workers. Tell us about who's been involved in this rioting and how it's developed.
So, yeah, the people who actually did the looting and the burning, they are not taxpayers. They are not the people who were affected by the pay cuts. The issue that the police, the military, and the correctional services, the security forces were protesting about, that's totally different. So this opportunity was used by people who are not employed, by people who are not taxpayers. These are mostly young men, unemployed, and living in settlements, who are literally hungry because they don't have any employment. There's no food, they don't have any money, so they look for any opportunity like that. So when something comes up, they take that, use that to their advantage to loot shops, burn vehicles, burn property, do that kind of thing. So that's what they did. And usually the police are the ones who stop them from doing things like that. But this time, the police were the ones who were protesting. So literally, there was no one around to stop it. So they just did, it got out of hand. So but this is actually like the tipping point of the kind of struggle that people go through in life. Like the tax, the formal employment sector is only small. So there's only about 14 to 15% of the population who are employed paying tax. And the taxes are so high. So that's how the police and the other public servants whose pay cuts led them to protest. But the bulk of the population who's not employed live in rural areas, and many of those communities they lack services. So governance is a big issue. Basic services are not there. Schools, quality of education dropping. Access to basic health services are not there. So many people migrate into urban centers, like Port Moresby is the biggest city. And many of those young unemployed people are literally coming from rural areas looking for better opportunities. And when it's not there, that's when they're looking for alternative ways of making money, engaging in illegal activities, causing trouble. And also because the tax is so high and people's incomes are so low, that it's one of the reasons that has led to the public sector corruption, in that you can't access services, basic services from government without paying someone who's paid by government. And now it's infiltrating into the healthcare system. To get any kind of service, you have to pay extra to get the service that you rightfully deserve to get. And it's okay if you have some money to pay, but the bulk of the population don't have that kind of money. If someone is poor and struggling to make ends meet and takes ill and goes into hospital, they can wait for an entire day, whereas someone with some money can pay their way through to get quick service. So that's just to give an example of the kind of difficulties that have led to where we are now.
In our country that we have been experiencing.
The opposition leader calling out the Prime Minister James Marape to confirm if his government will devalue the kina to secure an IMF loan. Nama saying if true, the impact would see the price of goods hike up by 20%.
Opposition has already warned the nation. When you borrow fund, you must be backed by a project that will be able to generate revenue, to be able for you to repay your borrowings and at the same time sustain your budget. It remains to be seen that Marape himself truly doesn't understand the implications of strict International Monetary Fund demands that will come.
The Treasurer in a press statement stating the opposition was lying and had no evidence to prove his statement. Stuckey stating he would release 31 key performance indicators and the IMF had not put devaluing of the kina as one of them.
In the next coming days and weeks, country will know that the IMF has pressured this government and Marape has agreed, whether Treasurer knows or not, to devalue our kina.
Nama stating he would present his evidence if needed and that while IMF was an important partner for the country, the proposed programs were not properly targeted specifically for the country's need.
The Prime Minister and the Treasurer announced recently that they are now going to be introducing the staff monitoring program introduced by IMF in this country. By facilitating the loan of these billions of kina, the IMF is going to impose a dictatorial foreign controls on the government and undermine the sovereignty of our nation.
Treasurer Stuckey challenging the opposition leader to give policy solutions. Nama stating the opposition has outlined policies and the government should iron out theirs. Nama stating that due to the government's lack of policy, 1 billion kina borrowed from Australia had been put into DSIPs, PSIP and repayments of debt, stating the government was broke and the IMF loan is to fund the 2020 budget.
I believe this government is very immature. It's not prepared to run this country. Treasurer and his Prime Minister should come out and tell the people of this country that we have serious financial problems. We are almost headed for bankruptcy.
Adelaide Surkskari, National, MTV News.
The no-fly MP triggered the debate with this statement on the floor of Parliament as he was asking his series of questions relating to national government funding.
Be correcting this 2 million record. Also, the district lobby break up 2 million. 1 million go to demand work, where financial instruction is talk. 500,000 blow SME. Now 500,000 blow WASP program. So me straighten this record lo talks away. In a full 2 million, they go to straighten housing go, whereby me straighten COVID, that's something.
Not fly me German. Prime Minister, it talk 2 million block COVID fund. 2 million block housing. Me the straighten talk.
Mr. Speaker, I think I'm going to be sitting in Parliament City. This is time supposed to check your handset record. I'm top 2 million block housing. I'm straight. Me talking you also.
The Prime Minister quickly responded to try and put the matter to rest, but it seemed to create more confusion in which the opposition side was still not happy.
Last year, we giving money to DSIP. Inside long allocation to DSIP, you got 2 million housing stuff inside. You got 2 million housing stuff inside. Now you clear him get additional 2 million, we giving block COVID.
I have here with me finance instruction number 7 of 2020, dated 25th of August 2020. And it states very clearly in number 5 instruction, district and province province's allocation. District will each receive a total of 2 million, comprising 500,000 for the WASH program, 500,000 for MSME support program, and 1 million for agricultural sector. I don't know where Prime Minister borrowed the 2 million from for health sector.
10 million kina is allocated to every district annually for development projects in various sectors, in which the Marape Basil government urges for 20% or 2 million kina to be used for the health sector. But with delay in receiving DSIP funds, this has been difficult to deliver for many MPs.
Inoka nalpa 2 million. Inoka nalpa 2 million. DSIP inside law this appropriation. Time you broke him, this 10 million, suppose you mix him with the full 10 million. It's a ratio belong is a star. But that actual full 10 million, you may not kiss him, so there's no 2 million, logically. Go and check your FI. Stop sitting here idle and telling all the lies.
Anymore Green River District never received any direct funding for the hospital. That's a total and blatant lie on the floor of Parliament by the Prime Minister. I'm telling the truth. Go and check it. It's the truth. And you are not telling the truth. So don't take your stance on the pulpit and preach.
The Prime Minister had to then explain the allocations properly and make a firm statement on the allocation of DSIP funds amidst the challenging economic conditions, giving concerned MPs a sigh of relief, but they hope for the better.
So when cash flow available, we try to honor to the best ability way we can honor him. So me clearing records, so problem me to know bell cascas or bell cross me no man block run make him German talk over up time report he come fake come say me put him come out. Now me like give him talk belly single online opposition. When cash flow allows it, you will get what is committed to you in your district where we could all afford it together. This line style where former Prime Minister to me clear this line style na talk we say.
Dennis Orere, National MTV News.